Hi, ladies. My name is Betsy. I'm a compulsive eater. I do 3 meals, plan 3 meals off the gray sheet, write them down, commit them to my sponsor, don't eat between those meals, and abstinence is the most important thing for me today. And it's a pleasure to be here. I'm heard a bit about this special small group, and now I'm part of it. So here we go. The irony is that, and I don't know if I know Laura wasn't there, and if you heard me last Tuesday, I actually was qualifying. So I've kept aside my pictures and some of my notes, but since uh, 2 o'clock, or before 2 o'clock today, I had another no matter what. So the ending will be different than it was last week. Anyway, this is a special week that relates to my journey with food and what it did to my body. Um, I was a chubby kid, had trouble with the clothes. And even when I would slim down, I didn't feel the same size as the rest of the women. And clearly, most of the time, I wasn't. And if you see the pictures, you might say, well, not so bad. But nobody was that size. So I now weigh uh, 10 pounds less than I did in the seventh grade. So, I was not this weight since I was in the fifth grade. That's a pretty long time. Anyway, this is a picture I found. I think you can see. Okay, so there I am on the one side. This is okay. So what is this? This is our Easter outfits, right? This is the Easter weekend. This is my Easter outfit. My sister and I always had these matching things, which is very funny because we never ever coordinated our clothes, but somehow when we had to show up, we had matching things. But she was skinny and I was fat. And so I think it's too bizarre that a brand new coat already has trouble closing. You don't buy coats that don't fit for the first Easter. And I would never have been able to wear it the next year. So it's just got to be that's how it was. I have another Easter story maybe, but when I got to be more like a teenager, we couldn't find the clothes. So we had this dress made so I could go to somebody's wedding, mother's friend. And after a while, I used to do the sewing, and that was actually a good thing and not bad. My father was in his profession was women's textiles, so he knew fabrics really well. And I would come home with a new dress that I was pretty happy with because thank God I got one. And he would say, "Well, the fabric's about $5 worth," but that's how that went. And well, I remember the other Easter stories. I must have been like uh, high school, college, still living at home. And I was home for Easter. And he said, "Hey, Betsy, why don't you go get a new dress for Easter?" And I'm like, in my mind, that is like, a ticket to hell because you have to go into a store and you have to find something that you can fit into. And so this is like no fun. And so I said, "Dad, I sing in the choir and we wear robes and it doesn't matter what I wear. So I don't think I'm going to do that." But clearly it was because it was just too difficult. Okay. In my 20s, especially late 20s, I slimmed down. I must have, got control of some food plan well enough that that was pretty good. But it doesn't stick because my history is you do something, you lose the weight, but pretty much never all the way. And then they tell you that you're going to reintroduce the foods that you gave up. And that never works because I go right back to the foods that blew me up. So this is how blown up I got. On the right. This is with a friend of mine in Oregon. And that box had a raft. And the next day we were going to go down this river in a raft. And she said she just wanted to tell me that if you have to fall, you need to fall in the boat because if you fall out, it's very hard to get back in. And I'm thinking, lady, if I fall out of the boat, I'm swimming to that island. You can pick me up any way you can. And fortunately, I did fall in the boat, and that was that. But that's where it got. That was a year before I found Gray Sheet. I had been in 12 step programs, the AA, for 9 years, and I found myself one day lying on the couch as unmotivated, unable to do anything as I had been with alcohol. And I thought, oh my God, I'm doing with food what I had done with alcohol. And then it really, really helped me to know that um, the foods we avoid are very much connected to the foods they make alcohol with. It makes so much sense to me that I can't eat it and I can't drink it. And I didn't fight that concept, and it really helped me to keep on the plan. So first, but we couldn't, I didn't know anything about Gray Sheet. I think I had gone to an OA thing, but I never found Gray Sheet there. There were probably some things, and I live about an hour from the Westport meeting, so that's kind of unusual. But there was one lady that was up in our area, my area, and she had been doing Gray Sheet for a very long time, and somehow somebody said something, and then the connection was made, and then I went down to Gray Sheet, and then I went from there. I started in June, and then I got abstinent in August 1999. So this is, in the first 100, so I was 252 pounds. I'm pretty tall. I was taller then, but in the first year, I lost the 100 pounds, and then I've lost a bit since, and kept it off for a quarter of a century. That's amazing. So this is what you do when you are able. That's down in Utah at those parks. And this is me with that singing group we were just talking about, with my conductor who knew Fred and me. And that's where we were. So it's pretty much the same story. It goes on, and um, a few things really made a big difference. How are we doing? I'm going to switch gears. Okay, good. I'm going to switch gears so we have time. I have the rest of the story. So when I came in, I was working. I would pack my lunches at night. I would take my lunches to school, and I would eat my food. I had a steady history of eating out. About 18 years ago, I retired, and I can eat at home lunches. So there are times when I don't have the practice of going to the restaurants and doing all that stuff, but I do, which is what I just showed you the picture. I do travel with these groups and other things like the trips. And so there are times when I have to get back in gear. And I have, just as a hint, realized that I had been out of practice sometimes, especially after COVID. It took me a long while to get back onto trips. And so I would practice by going out. And most of the time, I'm okay. My absolute one commitment to myself and to this program is I travel with 100% backup to every meal I take out. And on these trips, if I leave with the group, we go out in the morning, I for sure have lunch. I have the whole thing packed up, but I also have dinner because you never know about where you're going to be for dinner. So I would practice with them. I put them in this kind of stuff. I've known more recently that it helps to have something like this, a plastic thing, because they'll give you, in America at least, they'll give you a box to take home your food. And I always am glad to take home the food. It's a little extra for, you don't have to go to the shops. But it's much easier if you've got plastic and it's not gooey. So I tend to put something in there, and then I put this in here, and then the rest are all in plastic bags. I have at the end of a trip had plastic bags all over the floor, and I put on the label what the exact meal is because they could look a little bit alike. But I mean, breakfast is different from lunch and dinner, but lunch and dinner could be anyway, it doesn't matter. And so then I did, and then I would have the scale. And then this is my secret. This they all go into I have a bag with a zipper. Okay. They all go into something like this. Because when you go into a restaurant, this looks like another bag. So I have a purse bag and I have a food bag. And then all the stuff is in here. And I don't take it all out necessarily. Okay, so um, oh yeah, this bag I name the next meal. Because if I travel like overseas and I have a couple dinners and lunches and breakfast, and even you're on a plane and it's breakfast the next day, I have all these bags. I don't want to have to fool around when it's time to eat. So every bag, every meal is in its own bag, and then the next meal goes in here, and then I eat it, and then it goes away, and the next meal comes in and replaces it. So I just at the time of eating, I don't have to be thinking about it. So that helps a little bit. Um, okay, I'll come back to that, but I have another thing. I'm not really uh, re- really wedded to this. I'm not very experienced with it, but in apparently in 2010 at the retreat in Connecticut, they gave us these. Linda is famous for coming up with these incredible gifts, so that they have that. I keep it in my car. I have had to use it, especially if I was those times when I was working, but now it's not quite so much time. But last week or 10 days ago, I had to go down to the other part of the state to pick up my tax things. And then my plan was to take up my picnic and then go to this park that it's in my hometown where I grew up and have my lunch. So I go there, I'm eating my lunch. I go because I have it in the last bag thing, I have it in the black bag thing. And I look and I have none of that vegetable substitute. I have forgotten it. It is in the microwave, no matter what. So I said, "Oh, I've got that bag in my car. I am going to go." And I found it. I found what the more sawdust. I found um I found this. I have to replace it because now it's open and it's loose. That's not good. I have also, and that's the oil. That's what I would have needed to weigh and measure. I had a tablespoon. Okay. I had a bowl. This is pretty classy. I have a bowl. I also had fruit and a can opener and stuff like that and utensils, but that I didn't need that. What I said, okay, now get the scale out. Oh my God, I don't have the scale. I had taken the scale on my trip and I never got it back into the box. But I'm in my hometown. So I turn on to put the food away, go turn on the car. I go down to this little village and I buy another one. So now I have this one in my box. So anyway, I recommend it. You don't need it till you need it. And that's the whole thing. You have to be prepared before you need it. I don't have much time. Today I go to the yeah, today I go to the restaurant with this friend of mine I took out for a lunch. And I know exactly what I'm doing. I got put the protein on the scale. I got that all figured out. Now it's time for the salad. I have to supplement. How much is theirs? Oh my God, the scale's battery died and it's saying low. And I'm not sure that I had that extra scale there. I'm not going to go out to my car. Here's my other trick. I'm prepared to take home stuff. Well, first of all, I'm prepared. I had 100% backup. I could eat my salad that I brought. That's it. And I took the salad that they were giving me that I was going to start with to supplement. I took it home and I'll eat it for dinner because I don't even have to deal with it. Get it out of there, go take out your salad that you brought, and that's it. But if you're not prepared, it's a bit, I don't even want to think about it. So that's all that I have time for, but it's ironic that, for so long you can go with not much, no matter what's, and it has nothing to do with being willing to do this thing. It is just senior moment. You forgot the scale and the scale's battery's gone. AAA batteries for the scale that I had, they're so small, I could have had them in my purse. It doesn't even, you don't have to go to great lengths for that, but I didn't. So I ate my backup. Thank you, ladies. It's great to see you. Nice to meet you.